Guys, so we have an urgent breaking news coming out. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're gonna get to this news here. US and Ukraine launch Reconstruction and minerals deal. The United States and Ukraine have officially established the United States Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund, giving American companies priority access to development Ukraine valuable natural resources. The agreement grants the U.S. privilege access to investment projects for Ukraine's aluminum, graphite, oil, and natural gas reserves as part of broader reconstruction efforts. All right, so you have the Treasury Secretary Scott said this: thanks to U.S. President tireless efforts to secure a lasting peace, I am glad to announce this historic economic partnership agreement between the United States and Ukraine. The Treasury Department and U.S. International Development Finance Corporation will work with Ukraine Gov to finalize program, governance, and implementation details. Once again, Scott emphasized that entities who supported Russia's war effort will be excluded from participation in Ukraine's reconstruction projects. All right. So it's finally done. So we're going to get to all this news. We have a lot more, guys. A lot more. So I believe that something changed. It was last week on a Monday. No, it was last week. I forget which day it was. I think it was Friday. That's when the funeral of Francis. You had Donald and Zelensky. They sat down. They talked about very important stuff, and so we are seeing something here, guys. The White House has dropped a huge bombshell report. Now I want to bring this one up really quick here. Do me a favor, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. So I wanna play this video here. This is very important stuff. All right. So again, we are seeing a great change, a shifting change between the U.S. and Ukraine. So again, this is U.S. Secretary Scott. He's the one that made the huge announcement. So we're gonna get to all this here, guys. And before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago. My address is highlighted in yellow. All right, let me just play this video. Once again, please share it, and thank you so much for your support.
Thanks to President Trump's tireless efforts to secure a lasting peace, I am glad to announce the signing of today's historic economic partnership agreement between the United States and Ukraine, establishing the United States-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. This partnership allows the United States to invest alongside Ukraine to unlock Ukraine's growth assets, mobilize American talent, capital, and governance standards that will improve Ukraine's investment climate and accelerate Ukraine's economic recovery. The Development Finance Corporation will participate and help to establish this fund in collaboration with the government of Ukraine. Today's agreement signals clearly to Russian leadership that the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term. It's time for this cruel and senseless war to end. The killing must stop, and both the United States and the government of Ukraine look forward to quickly operationalizing this historic economic partnership for both the Ukrainian and American people.
Okay, once again, that is the Treasury Secretary Scott. He put out the announcement. I want to bring up some more information here. Okay, so once again, please share the video. The United States and Ukraine today signed a long-awaited rare earth mineral deal establishing a joint U.S.-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund that will ensure the continued supply of weapons. Hold on, wait a minute. So, establishing a joint U.S.-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund that will ensure the continue, meaning that they will continue sending equipments. Continue supply of weapons to Ukraine in exchange for partial control over the country minerals deposits and future developments by the United States. Additional detail about the deal are expected to be released soon. So I was reading this news article a couple of days ago. You have China. China is, with their rare earth mineral stuff, they not going to be helping, or the U.S. and stuff when it comes to that. But now we have shifted from China to Ukraine. Now Ukraine is going to be like the next one. We are seeing a huge shift here when it comes not only to war but tariff stuff. This is like the big deal here. India is going to be producing iPhones, no longer China. And we're no longer going to rely on China rare earth minerals. Now we're going to go with Ukraine. So Donald he's really shifting a lot of things here. In other words, it seems like he's trying to weaken the Red Dragon. Say, that's it. We done with you. We done with you. It's over. It's over. We don't want to deal with you no more. You guys already become rich and stuff like that. It's time to give other country a chance. So they're still going to continue sending equipments. So I don't know how's that going to work. So, and that's with the security guarantees. So it says here, U.S. and Ukraine signed mineral deal. Once again, this is coming out from RT. The agreement granting Washington access to the country's natural resources comes amid American military aid cuts and growing tensions over Donald Peace Initiative. Now, Washington and Kiev have signed a minerals deal granting the U.S. partnership in developing Ukraine natural resources. The U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott and Ukrainian Economy Minister announced on Wednesday. The agreement comes as Ukraine seeks security guarantees from Washington. There you go, security guarantee from Washington as part of a potential peace deal with Moscow that the U.S. president is working to negotiate. Now, the deal sees the establishment of the U.S. Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund. Donald envisioned this partnership between the American people and the Ukrainian people to show both sides commitment to lasting peace and prosperity in Ukraine, Scott said in a statement. The full text of the agreement has not yet been released. I'm going to skip his name, said that the fund will be jointly managed by Ukraine and that the U.S. on a 50-50 basis, and that neither side will hold a dominant vote. Now, she said that 50% of the revenue from new licenses in the fields of critical materials, oil, and gas will be directed to the fund. Full ownership and control remain with Ukraine. The Ukrainian minister added, "It is the Ukrainian state that determines and where to extract. Subsoil remains under Ukrainian leadership or ownership, This is clearly established in the agreement. According to this person, the deal does not alter privatization processes or the management of state-owned companies." Now, she said that the oil and gas giant company, I'm going to skip the name, as well as Energoatom, the operator of Ukraine nuclear power plants, will remain under Gov ownership. Give me a second here, guys. Truly apologize. I had to pick up this important phone call, guys. I truly apologize. It says here, while Joe administration approved large aid packages, hey, you guys already know every week they were sending billions. It was just a headache. It was a headache. Sending large packages for Ukraine, including the supply of advanced equipment, the current U.S. leader, Donald, has focused on shifting the burden of assistance to Kiev, European supporters. In February 2025, the U.S. went so far as to halt all military support to the country following a tense Oval Office meeting between Donald and the vice president and, once again, Ukrainian leader. According to various estimates, Washington has provided at least $170 billion to Ukraine. Let's stop here for a second. Which, by the way, Zelensky said he's not going to pay that back. He said the reason why, because it was not credit, it was not a loan. So, apparently, Grandpa Joe, he gave almost $200 billion to Ukraine absolutely free. Here, it's for you. Here, it's for you. Billions of dollars a week. Now, Donald, he's trying to get that money back. Hey, you got to pay me back, plus with interest. All right, so I don't care what Joe said to you. You pay me back. This money belongs to the sleeping giant citizens, which is us. The White House insists those expenses should be compensated. Man. Access to Ukraine's mineral resources, including rare earth elements critical to high-tech industry. It has to be paid. It has to be paid. Geez, we don't get no break. We get no break. We give a country almost $200 billion and they get that for free. Meanwhile, hey, I know I owe $200 in my Capital One. And then, there's any way you guys could wipe it off? We don't get that. We don't get that pleasure. Negotiation between the two countries over a minerals agreement have been underway since the early days of Donald return to office. A preliminary memorandum of intent was signed on April 17, but the U.S. leader has publicly criticized the delay in finalizing the deal. In a post on Truth Social on April 25th, he accused Zelensky of being 3 weeks late in signing it and demanded that it be completed immediately. One thing I'll tell you is that at least Donald is trying. All right, he ain't sending money like that. He ain't doing that crazy stuff like the old grandpa did for the past 3 years of this war. Between those two countries, Donald is trying to get some profit back, some money back. The rare earth mineral, again, those are very, very important stuff there. Stuff that can make iPhones and F-16s and so many good stuff. Something that China has said, we're not going to give you no rare earth mineral. We need those rare earth mineral if we continue with the laptop, Apple, and all that type of stuff, computers, and very important items. So again, now we are shifting to Ukraine. Bye, China. All right, so it says here, although the minerals agreement does not explicitly include U.S. security guarantees for Ukraine, it is described as an expression of a broader long-term strategic alignment and a tangible demonstration of the U.S. support for Ukraine's security, prosperity, and reconstruction and integration into global economic framework, according to the Financial Times. Zelensky said last week that Kiev hopes to receive long-term security assistance from Washington, similar to the U.S. and Israel model. Meanwhile, Donald declined to clarify whether the U.S. will continue to provide military aid to Ukraine. So you see, most of Americans went for Donald because they want this war to end. Now, Donald, you said it yourself. You said it yourself, Donald, that you want the killing to die because, again, you got so many from both sides. It's just every week. That's what Donald said that yesterday. He wrote a message. He said this needs to stop. 5,000 a week or 10,000 a week is being gone. Now, you have very important information right here. Where is it? Give me a second here, guys. Donald refused. Although the agreement, okay, so it says here, it is described as an expression of broader long-term strategic alignment and a tangible demonstration of the U.S. support. Okay, we already know that's support for Ukraine, security, prosperity, reconstruction, intelligence into global economic framework. Zelensky said last week that Kiev hopes to receive long-term security assistance. Okay, so Trump declined. Trump declined to clarify whether the U.S. will continue to provide military aid if a peace agreement between these two is not reached. If it's not reached, it's none of our business. We should not just, we should just wash our hands and say, yeah, figure it out. Again, I cannot bankrupt my sleeping giant country and put my sleeping giant citizens in jeopardy because you two are acting up. I want to leave that as a big fat secret because I don't want to ruin a negotiation, he said in the interview, so it does make sense. The news reported last week that Washington had given Kiev what Donald called a final offer to resolve the conflict. The U.S. has expressed mounting frustration over the lack of progress in the peace negotiations. U.S. Secretary of State Rubio said last week that Washington may withdraw from the talks entirely if they stall. All right, you know what's going to happen here? I guarantee the Red Dragon is going to come out and do something. They're not going to, again, this is biblical war now between rare earth minerals. You got Ukraine. Ukraine just came out and say, hey, Red Dragon, I heard you're not helping the U.S. We will help them with the rare earth minerals. India is saying, hey, China, we're going to be making iPhones from now on. You know what's going on with the Red Dragon? Little by little, the Red Dragon is losing all the support. And they losing all the support. The Red Dragon's going down little by little. Little by little. I want to pull up this one too. Alright, so Donald also put this information out. Donald said, we cut your taxes from almost 40% down to 21% now. We're bringing your taxes down from 21% to 15% if you build your product, make your product in a sleeping giant. This is an attack on the Red Dragon. So the rare earth minerals, the tax break for big companies, India joining the sleeping giant. Walmart came out yesterday and said they're going to start selling made in America product. The Red Dragon is in big trouble. Alright guys, please share the video. And like I said, this is, yes, it's about Ukraine and Russia, but it's more about the Red Dragon too. Alright, so Donald is sending a strong message to the Red Dragon. You're not going to win this. The Red Dragon, they're going to send a message back, and we're going to be seeing some huge tariff biblical war going on. Thank you so much for watching. Share the video. For those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.